I'll second that.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All righty. All right, so what we have for tonight, new business, is application P344 at 31 Woodland Avenue. Application is for a minor subdivision plan submitted by the property owner, Joanne Gitchner, proposing the subdivision of 2 lots into 4 lots at 31 Woodland Avenue. PIDN 176.000. Do you need to read all that into the record? Okay. CTM 134-12.00-560.01, zoned R1 single family residential, and 28 Central Avenue, PIDN 175-000, CTM 134-12-319-00, zone R1 single family residential. Alright, so I guess Jim's not here tonight, I guess? Alright. Are you taking his place then, Ken?
Yes.
Alright. So I guess I'll turn it over to you at this point.
So at this time, I'm going to swear in Mr. Simoneau and the clerk. Do you each swear to tell the truth before the board this evening?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So I will read the review letter comments from Mr. James Lober of the Kircher Group. Dear Mr. Simoneau, pursuant to your request, the Kircher Group Incorporated has reviewed the plan listed below. Proposed minor subdivision for 31 Woodland Avenue and 28 Central Avenue. Prepared by Simpler Surveying and Associates Incorporated, dated July 15, 2022, and as revised through February 1st, 2023. Comments from our previous reviews have been maintained below. Based on our review of this revised plan, we have addressed each accordingly. Dimensional regulations, they have been addressed. Number 1, dimensional regulations. All dimensional regulations have been addressed. I'm not going to bother to read through them. Number 2, the variance application was just heard before the Board of Adjustment today, April 20th, 2023. The board ruled in favor of the applicant, approves her variance request, contingent that a building permit be submitted to the Office of Planning, Zoning, and Development within a 3-year period, which would start 30 days from today after the required 30-day waiting period for any objections to that application. Topography, everything's addressed. Floodplain, addressed. Utilities, given the depth of the lots and the potential distance from the sanitary main to the constructed homes, verification of the invert of the sanitary main will be required in order to ensure that connection is feasible. Please contact the county for assistance with removal of the manhole lids so that the invert information can be collected. A, invert information for the sanitary sewer main will be required to be included on the plan so that the feasibility of connecting to the main can be established. Show the water main across the frontage of the subject parcel. A copy of the as-built is attached to this correspondence. A1, show both sanitary sewer main, including detailed as-built information, and the water main across the frontage of the subject parcel. Contact Sussex County for sanitary sewer as-built information. Contact Tidewater Utilities for water main information. Number 2, the sanitary lateral shown at the northeast corner of the parcel appears to be intended for connection by Lot 1. Previously approved plans by this office for construction of the new home on the adjoining lot appear to show the same lateral being used. verify if the lateral in question was used for connection by the adjoining property, and propose a new lateral connection to the main as necessary. A, so show proposed tie-ins for both sewer and water for each lot. A1, show proposed tie-ins for both sewer and water for each lot. That's the end of the comments.
So this is a 4-lot, it's 2 lots currently,
It's 1 lot it's 2 lots currently, and it's gonna be subdivided into 3 lots.
3 lots. Okay.
No, 4 lots.
4 lots, including the 28 Central.
Yeah.
I'm focused on the 3 on Woodland.
But,
Because I
I'm
look
sorry, go ahead.
at, I'm looking at the plan,
Yeah, it's currently 4 lots, 28 Central Avenue and 31 Woodland Avenue. My apologies,
okay, so is the one on Central Avenue is an existing lot already?
yes,
It's marked as residential land?
that is an existing lot that is occupied by the applicant sitting to my left.
Okay. All right. And the pole barn that's sitting there, is that to be incorporated into lot number 3, or is that part of
That
lot
has
number?
been approved by the Board of Adjustments and will be incorporated to lot number 3.
To lot number 3,
Yes.
okay. Alrighty, any
I have
other
a couple
que-
of questions. This pole barn area that's being put into lot number 3, is that currently part of 28, number 28? Is that correct?
It's currently part of 28 Central Avenue. Yes.
Okay. A couple of other technical questions here. I caught the end of the other meeting where they put a rather odd condition on it. But typically, not necessarily this case, but typically, when these changes by Jim Loper's firm are made here, and they're put in, what is the timing on that? For instance, it talks about you had to change some of the connections. Is that something that is done before anything can be built on it? Or is that something that must be done before a building permit can even be issued?
I think, I don't think Jim's overview specifically talked about connections, unless I forgot it that quickly. I think it talked about verifying the inverts, and to see the feasibility of connecting. That has to be done prior to final approval of the site plan by Jim Logan.
Okay, so that particular, and again, this would apply, I'm trying to think of the
So
broad
you
scheme of
can,
things.
you can,
not just this one
housekeeping-wise,
case.
you can approve the subdivision, but, and that's fine, that's one function. But these, things that need to be
They
addressed,
come down the road.
they need to be addressed by the applicant's engineer prior to Mr. Lober approving this, site plan.
And this is a concept plan that we're looking at.
Yes.
So
It's
that would have to be done prior to the preliminary?
Now, this is a subdivision, it's not, this is the final plan. This will come back to us. So if you guys, subdivision, minor subdivision, I think is a little different. You can jump in here if I'm a little far off.
I believe the code section applying to minor subdivisions is included in your packets, and you can see that, the minor subdivision, you can do concept, preliminary, and final, in one meeting, because she's creating less than 6 lots. So we can clean this up administratively after you guys weigh in.
That's what I was fixing to say in a roundabout way. You guys can move to approve this But all these housekeeping issues need to be addressed before Jim Lover is gonna say, this plan's ready to go. So if there's no possible way that, you know, to make a connection to the sewer, then that kind of,
Okay, but what you're saying, pardon me for being dumb today, what you're saying is, because this is a small subdivision, we can turn the administrative completion duties over to the administrators, you and Jill, and simply say, we're approving this as a final, not just concept.
as a final contingent on the items identified in Mr. Lover's review being addressed.
Okay, and what we do this, is there any effect on our decision, or any effect on you administratively, in terms of our decision, because of the way the variance was granted? With a
You're
restriction?
probably gonna need to swear her in, her own.
All right, Jill, do you want to come up to the podium and state your name?
Jill Oliver, planner with the town of Ocean View.
And do you swear to tell the truth before the board today?
I do. The way this will work is Jim's next round of comments will include that we will ask that a note be added to the plan that encompasses the decision of the Board of Adjustment, so that is formalized on the site plan. The applicant will need to address the rest of the town engineer's comments before we will get his final sign-off. Before this plan can be recorded with a recorder of deeds to legally create these lots, we will need to stamp that plan. So we will not stamp this plan as approved until such time that we are satisfied that the comments in Jim's letter have been satisfied and that the note about the Board of Adjustment hearing is inclusive on that plan.
That answers my questions.
Yeah, she said that so much better than I would have fumbled through it.
Mark, you have anything to say?
No, I
Thank
don't
you.
think so. I think we
So,
figure out what they're doing here.
before, I just want to clarify, and we'll give Ms. Gitchner the opportunity to present her application, but, so what I'm wondering, would if the board was inclined to grant this after Mrs. Gitchner's presentation, would the motion be to approve the subdivision plan subject to final site plan approval by the planning department with all conditions of the town engineer being incorporated into the final recordable plan?
Yes, and the addition of a note
About the
about the variance
variance.
being added to the plan.
So we can qualify that as we.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any more questions of Mr. Simino?
I don't.
All right,
I guess I just want to understand a little more clear. This pole barn is now part of lot number 3.
It will be.
It will be based upon the approval
Yeah,
from the Board of Adjustment. So this lot will go on the market at some point in time as a lot to build on with a pole barn.
I think it is time right now, that's a question for the applicant to answer about what she plans to do with this subdivision.
so Ms. Gitchner,
Okay.
why don't you come forward and you state your name and your address for the record?
I'm Joanne Gishner, and I live at 28 Central Avenue.
And Ms. Gitchner, do you swear to tell the whole truth before the
Oh,
board
yes,
today?
I do.
Thank you.
My intention, I live in the home on 28 Central Avenue, and behind my home is 2.77 acres with a field and woods. So my intention with the surveyor was to divide that up into 3 separate lots, 1 acre each. I have 3 children, and I'm giving each child a lot. One child in particular really would like the pole barn, and that is the problem. Otherwise, I would sell the pole barn with a house. But so our intention is my daughter and I will build on one of those lots in the near future and live together there, and I will be selling my home.
Okay. Can a pole barn be used for a commercial business? I guess the
No,
concern I have is that
No.
it's R1 residential. what can that pole barn, well, actually, you said your son is going, or one of your children is gonna take that over.
What, yeah, my
But
my
can they
eldest.
run a business out of that?
No, that is not his intention. He likes to build engines. And-
I don't think that was the question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
His intention, and we all have wonderful intentions,
Mm-hmm.
but the question really is more a code one, not your personal intention or your son
Oh, I'm sorry.
or daughter. But it's not zoned for that, so can you or can you not run a business out of that? I'm asking the planning department that question.
It's R1.
Okay, so this is an R1 single-family residential zone. Within the code, there are some limited commercial uses for home-based businesses, which of course would be considered an accessory use to a principal use, which we've already determined there's no principal structure on the lot. Until such time that a principal structure is built, no home-based business uses could be contemplated for the pole building. And I would have to defer to Veronica on this, but I believe the Board of Adjustment has already weighed in, and their decision has put the structure in somewhat of it's compliant now based on their decision, as shown on the plan. So I don't know that we're weighing in necessarily.
Well, they've given her a variance to have a pole barn on the property without a residence. And basically they said that that's good for 3 years, and yet she has to apply for a building permit within 3 years. So technically, if they don't do that within 3 years, she would have to come back before the Board of Adjustment to get an extension, or she would have to, the town could direct that she tear down the building.
Okay, and that part I understand. My question's slightly different, the kids was, is you're saying technically, under the R1, if they build a primary structure on that same lot, they then could run a home-run business out of that pole barn.
They
Is
can
that
do
correct?
what's ever permitted in an R1 district.
Just like anybody else.
Anybody else.
Permitted to do in an R1 district, provided they retain the proper license and that the code requirements for a home-based business, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just needed to understand that.
right. All righty. All right, is there anything else you would like to add? Any comments?
Just that
or-
I'm trying to get my future in order for my children.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions of the board members?
I just want to know, you said your son likes to build engines,
He likes to take things apart and put them back together.
but I mean, is he going to be doing that for himself, or is he going to do it for other people also?
I think that he just likes to do that for himself.
Okay. All righty, will you propose the, your wording to the, or do you want to make a motion?
Well, I'll propose, but I'll let the attorney repeat, because the wording is right on target, and I can't remember all of it.
And I hope to God I can repeat it. So I think the motion, if you're inclined to approve this plan, is to move to approve the proposed minor subdivision plan submitted in application P344, subject to final site plan approval and the introduction of all recommendations of the Kircher Group on a final recordable plan.
Okay,
Correct. And that, I move that as a motion.
and can I second as chair? Yeah, I'll second that. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion approved,
Thank you very much.
passes.
My children, thank you.
All right.
So Ms. Gitchner, you've still got some work to do, right? You've got to get up with Ken, and you've got, this subdivision, you'll have to record it in the Recorder of Deeds office, and it will have to be stamped by Ken and Jill's office, which means you're gonna have to update the plan to incorporate all the things in the Kircher recommendations. And my best advice to you would be to have your surveying company, get up with the planning department.
I believe the comments have been sent to the surveyor already.
Okay.
He's probably already working on it.
Alrighty,
All right.
so if there's no further business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.